Hello, and welcome to a review of Terry Pratchett's Guards. To get out of the way to begin with, my eyes probably look fucking mental because hay fever is having its way with me. So I'm gonna look like I'm crying, like I've got conjunctivitis, and like I am literally becoming deceased. And it's because I am. But if we just wade our way through that, if we just try to ignore the weeping eyes, then we're going to be looking at one of my new favourite Terry Pratchett books. And so before we begin, if you do want to hear more about Pratchett, because I do plan on reading more of him as we go along, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe and all that jazz. I'm just going to say at the start of the video, so when I forget at the end, don't need to worry about it. So this book is wonderful. It is so funny. It's just everything you want from a Terry Pratchett book. It follows the small group, the City Guard, the City Watch, as they're just a ragtag group of misfits. It's basically an honorary title to not do anything. In a world where the patrician has set up the Assassin's Guild, the Thieves Guild, he has monopolised and basically created a system where these entities can exist, where you can steal to a limit. There are boundaries created for a self-sufficient crime underbelly. And so this honorary title is just, at the beginning of the story, are Vimes, Colin and Nobby. These three guys that just go around and pretend that everything's fine, to ignore anything that's wrong and just let the city self-sufficient itself, just look after everything by itself. And we're watching as two major events happen. One is Carrot, the human raised by a dwarf society, has been shipped off by his community to now join humans again. And the other one is that the Brethren of the Ebon Knight
to Sweet Countdown! First rule of Street Countdown is that you really must try and tell as many people as possible about it. It's a rather fun game, and the more people will tell about it, the better.
Are looking to bring back a dragon to bring around the end of the patrician's reign. So the Grand Master can seize control pretty much and use the dragon to create his own society. So they're within the first 30-40 pages, that's what sets up the story. This is the dynamic we're following. And so to begin with, the big motion is Carrot, from the fish out of water style, where he's coming from this kind of just a dwarvish settlement, what we expect in terms of bearded men and women having a good old time, mining, drinking ale, being extremely, in this world, extremely literal. So they do not understand metaphor, they don't understand anything at all. So there's quite a lot of bits starting off with Carrot being a fish out of water and not understanding idioms, etc. And then as the book continues, we hit a point where Pratchett does such a good job of satirising all fantasy tropes, be it the returning prince to save society, the idea of 1,000,000 to 1 shot, the idea that in a fantasy story that last ditch attempt has to work, that the last chance is destined to happen. And all of I don't want to spoil them, but it just threads this story together. He's so good at doing paybacks, just payoffs to his jokes, where there's a setup 20 pages in that at the very end of the book will wrap up, and it's kind of this really cathartic ending, and really just fantastic craftsmanship of jokes. And the next thing would be characters. The character work is fantastic. All the characters have their own individual traits that you can really track, in terms of, even if you didn't have the someone's name, you would be able to pick out exactly who they're talking about based on such things as Vimes' drinking, or Carrot's literalism, Lady Rampkin just being a massive lady that's bumbling around and being very proper and to do. You've got Colin and his Arrow, you've got Nobby and his relationship with Rampkin, everyone, you know exactly who they are. Also, the other thing is the integration of course, like when you read Pratchett, you know all the other stories are going to be involved in some way, and this is the 8th book in Discworld, but also the first of the Guard series, like the City Watch series. You get characters reoccurring, of course. So I've read Going Postal before, so you get Vetinari returning in the same kind of... there's just a way where these side characters reoccurring feels so wonderful. Watching Vetinari act with Vimes differently than Moist von Litvig and Times Gone By, their dynamics are different. It's so much fun, and there's something about Discworld where it's such a long series that when you get these snapshot of characters, it feels like you're in a world because all these characters are interacting with each other. And that would be the other thing as well in terms of world building with this story. For such a small scale book, following in terms of it's massive, it's city affecting. But the story is around basically 5 characters. It's just about Vimes, Nobby, Carrot, and Lady Rampkin as they're trying to work out how to stop the dragon. But the interactions they have with the society around them, how Pratchett describes the other people in the city and how they're reacting, feels completely real. And also in terms of he quite often does it in jokes. There's a reference to the idea of trying to shoot the dragon, and it puts into scale how many people are there. The idea that when they all miss, like 40 people are going to die, and it just puts into perspective how large everything is and how many people are there. Once again, with prose, you don't really need to ever mention prose. Pratchett is a master of his phrasing. He can make jokes so succinct. I've never read anyone be able to make something so funny in so little words. Once again, his callbacks, his payoffs to characters and jokes are all so well done. And even when he does let a joke go on too long, one of my favourite jokes is just this kind of, it goes on a bit too long, but you know the punchline, and it feels so good when you reach that punchline. And I don't think this will be the only bit of spoilers in the video. So if you don't want to hear, skip ahead, like however long I put on the thing. For people that have read the book, it's just a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. It's such a good bit where they pull it back, and of course you've got all the setup with them trying to kill the dragon. And then it's just the idea of them going back and forth, being like, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. And then Nobby, Colon, and Carrots go, 1,000,000 to 1 chance? Yes, 1,000,000 to 1 chance. 1,000,000 to 1 chance. And they all say it, and then just the punchline of, but it may just work. And it's such a long execution to that one line, but it just made me laugh so hard. The pacing is sublime in terms of, for what is relatively a short book anyway. It's like, in this edition, I think it's like 300 pages, and then like in the new print it's like 400 and something. But because the plot moves so fast, you've got the fish out of water with Carrot to begin with, which really gets you through like the first a third of the book. Then you've got Vimes, and going along with Vimes and his journey from being a drunkard to someone that actually wants to help. That takes you through, and then suddenly you're at the climax and it's all coming to an end. So the book is unrelenting. It just keeps going. The comedy remains the same level throughout. Nothing dips, nothing drags. It's just it's a masterpiece. And I think that would be where I end it, because it is, in terms of what you're looking for with a Pratchett book, with this kind of comedy, the way that it subtly and also completely blatantly satirises fantasy tropes, creates these very lovable characters in a scenario that they shouldn't be, making the world feel completely real and just grubby, but making you want everyone to be okay, is just fantastic. And I do plan on, I think I've got all of the Guards, all the City Watch series, so I do plan on making my way through that. There's a pile up there of books I plan to get to, and at the top is Men at Arms. So this is going to be a series I do continue. So if you are interested, please do feel free to subscribe and stick around, leave a like, comment on whether you think the series gets better from here, or whether Guards is like the end all be all, and then it kind of dips a little but stays the same. I'll be happy with that. And as always, just have a nice day, and leave a comment for my eyes, because they're just fucked.